I'm extra loopy today.
All right, we should be live. Let me double check. But while I do that, why don't you tell people what's going on, Gordon?
Hey, folks. I always forget. Is it this one or that one? It's that one, right?
It's the one with the monitor.
Well, why is it? Oh, got it.
The one with the monitor.
Well, that makes sense.
So that we can see
It
Brad.
seems to switch. All right. Hey, everybody. We are going to be going over. Lena has been combing the internet, all of them, both of them, for the best Black Friday sales. There's two. You don't know about the other one.
Oh.
And
need to know basis.
Also, she'll be going over a cheap ass computer she built from or spec'd out from Black Friday parts. So how cheap can you go? I want to hear opinions. I have not actually seen this, so I want to see. I want to see how cheap it is.
I'm ready for this. I've been preparing all weekend for what you might say.
Yeah, don't worry. He's been preparing too.
Yeah.
Heisenberg's here. We got, it looks like we are live on everything.
Yeah, we're ready?
Yeah.
No, hold on one second.
No.
Okay, Gordon, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Hey, what's up? We ready?
Yeah.
In this episode of Full Nerd, Black Friday PC sales alert and how cheap of a PC can Elena build from Black Friday parts. It had to be $5.
Treat Fitty.
What?
Treat Fitty.
$5. I got a store bought my mom the $5. I'm just talking at him. It doesn't matter. He's pointing at me to talk now. Hey, welcome to the Full Nerd, episode 75, Black Friday sale alert. I'm your host, Gordon Mong, with co-host Brad Charkis.
Hello.
And Black Friday specialist, Elena Yee is here.
Hi, everyone.
And, of course, Adam Patrick Murray controlling the vertical and horizontal.
Hello, everyone. Here we go.
Hi. I'm awake.
We're here.
Welcome. A miracle.
Good morning.
She has not been sleeping. She's been combing the internets for good sales. I'm getting ready. Look, I've got
everything.
My wallet out. My George Costanza wallet. Get that out. We're going to buy some good Black Friday sales parts. Good stuff.
Kind of.
Yeah, I kind of got
Black Friday.
Yeah, so Adam and I did a video on Friday where
we did.
I gave a quick kind of temperature read on what I was seeing already.
And I just sat there and said, sounds good.
Yeah, I'm not really impressed with this year that much. I mean, there's some good deals out there. I was really negative on Friday, and as I went through it more on Saturday and Sunday, I came around to it a little bit. I think what happened was that I had expectations, and that's what happens. You have expectations, and they don't get met, and then you're emotionally crushed by it, but it's not an accurate read on the situation. So I would say this year, there are some good deals, but they're not exciting because mostly they match last year's.
Really?
Yeah, at best. And there's not a lot of them that even do that, which is why I was so disappointed, I think, on Friday. But it doesn't mean that there's no good deals. It just means that there are fewer of them and they're not as exciting as they have been in previous years.
Do you think it's actually all of the stores, reacting to pushing the sales early? I mean, it used to be Black Friday because it was on Friday. Now it's like Black Friday the week and a half before.
Not even a week and a half, like a month.
Yeah, a month before.
Black November.
Do you think maybe they're going to surprise us this year? It's like, actually on Black Friday.
They could. So that's the problem. That's the other thing, too, I realized, which is I'm going through these circulars, I'm looking at the ads, I'm looking at slick deals, and what I'm realizing, like last year, they'll advertise one price, but because of the retailer might have a similar price and they want to, get an edge on that competition, they'll actually undercut their own price that they were advertising previously. And they've done that before. It's just that this year's been so conservative, I wasn't expecting them to do a lot of that, and they still are. So it's possible on Friday we'll still see some better deals than what's been advertised and what's been coming on the pipeline so far. But that's a little more like, I would say, Black Friday of a couple of years ago, or even 3 years ago, than it is what was like last year and the year before, which was good deals started coming like early and they just didn't stop.
Dang.
That was going to be my question, actually. Because it used to be, up until it seems like the past 2 or 3 years, like there's a lot of question what you're going to see on Friday, Black Friday itself. Now it seems like circulars all come out 2 weeks early and kind of what's coming.
You do know what's coming. I mean, I know it's coming. I've compiled a list. I've been meaning to get it up, but formatting it is kind of a bear. So hopefully that'll go up, not right after, but soon after this show. And in looking at that list, it's a bigger list than I've ever had before because it's mostly official information. That's new. Before, it was all based on leaked circulars. And this year, I would say like majority of the major retailers like Target, Newegg, Best Buy, Walmart, Dell, they've gone ahead and just said like, here are the deals. Hang tight for a week or so or whatever.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But then they'll put me on sale. And it's like, well, should I hang tight for that or should I just go ahead and buy now? Because,
I think it's been interesting that Newegg's been doing them all month. Every weekend they've been doing ones and saying this will not be cheaper. So they've been building up to it. And say,
that's a lie. That's a lie. Newegg lies.
That's
Really?
I'm curious to see if that holds out true.
Newegg, I wouldn't say they lie.
They want you to get you to. They want you to like.
want you to
Oh,
buy."
it's not going to get any cheaper. I'm going to say this is, sir. This is my best price, $80.
Yeah.
$80.
But for
Okay.
that model,
Hey, wait,
that
2 weeks
model.
later, now it's like $60. Way I said. Well,
So I think that's their opening, right? It's possible it won't get any better, but I wouldn't rule out the possibility that Newegg says, oh, like that particular set of Corsair RAM, yeah, you won't see better on it. But it doesn't mean this other set of Corsair RAM can't go lower.
The B set, it'll be.
Is there at least a shift because maybe SSDs? Like I saw, I think it was a 860 Evo. Maybe it might have been a 960 Evo. It was $230 for a 2 terabyte drive, and I was really sort of tempted. I kind of wanted 2 terabyte drive just to go under $200 before I sort of buy one, but.
I'm not seeing much movement in anything above the 1 terabyte range right now. So it's pretty much everything from 120 to 1 terabyte that's going, lower and lower and lower. There's a little movement in the 2 terabyte space, but not a lot. I think if you see it for 200, you should definitely jump on it because that's a really good price.
And I think
I
Lotus
figure
was
if you're in the market for a 2 terabyte NVMe drive, you're just going to pay for it anyway.
Well, he said 860, so that's SATA.
Yeah, I think it was a 960 Evo. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Could have been 860 Evo. It doesn't really matter. You're going for
I
capacity.
haven't seen the 960 go on sale. Right now, it's like Samsung is pushing their 860 Evo really hard, primarily in the 2.5-inch form factor. I've seen a couple of deals on the M.2, but not many. It's primarily that, and then some deals on the 970.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of it is really sort of more mainstream parts. Like all the SATA drives are on sale, but like NVMe, I think Brad is right. NVMe is not too cheap, right?
Well, you can get a 970. I think it's still live right now. I haven't checked this morning, but you could get a 500. Was 500 gig? Yeah, 500 gig 970 Evo M.2 drive for 118, which is a little more expensive, obviously, but
Yeah.
It's not bad.
it's not bad for an NVMe drive, especially of that caliber.
Right.
A Western Digital Black, or I guess they call themselves a WD now, but the Western Digital Black went on sale, 500 gigs for $99 over the weekend. I sent that link to Dan. He bought it right away.
Oh, did he? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sorry, you wanted to break in earlier for questions, I assume.
You just get a couple of comments. Eddie on YouTube's asking, do you know if the RTX 2070 is safe to buy right now or not?
Ooh, you know what? Brad can answer that question because Brad forwarded me some information this morning.
I
Dude,
did.
Is it totally
did.
Black Friday? Black Friday
There's
price
actually
in the
there's
2070?
actually some deals on the RTX cards coming down the pipeline.
Really?
Yeah.
Not many, but there will be some. NVIDIA just sent me an email right after lunch. I'm on the East Coast.
Wait, I know the answer. 2080 Ti, 1198.
Actually, the EVGA RTX 2070 XC, which is actually one of the cards that I reviewed when it came out and actually gave an Editor's Choice Award because I thought it was a really good price for what you're getting, is going to be $50 off. It's going to be $530. So it's not a huge discount, but you can save some money on it. There's also going to be MSI model that's about the same price, $526. You can save $25, $30 on some of these early, lightly overclocked RTX 2070 cards. If you wait until 11/21 for the MSI Duke and 11/23 or November 23rd for the EVGA model.
Nice.
How does that go against 1080 these days? Let me just.
That's much better right now because 1080 you can't really get, I think.
Really?
Ti I know for sure you can't get, but I haven't looked at 1080 lately.
1080, if you can sometimes find them on really, really good sales. Like if you can find 1080 for $450.
Lately?
I mean, you want to jump. I don't know what's going to be available too much for Black Friday. Jump on it, but $530 for that 2070 is a great deal.
Yeah, I got to say that makes it a real, I mean, as much as all the ray tracing haters are out there, you're looking at 520, certainly blower styles are 480, looking at Newegg.
And blower styles.
Yeah, but like there's an MSI, dual fan design here, 520.
Yeah, looking at the email that NVIDIA sent me, it's available starting today, a Zotac GTX 1080 Mini, so it's slightly smaller. It's still dual fan, though, is $440.
Oh, that's
so
good.
about $100 cheaper than the on sale, or $90 cheaper than the on sale RTX 2070.
Would you rather do 2070 or 1080, though? I mean, you're so close. I mean, all the haters, of course, I know what they would do.
$90 is $90. That's not a...
90
that's a month worth of lunches or whatever.
Right.
Especially depends on the style you get, right? Like if you're getting some beefy, overclocked, like really well cooled version of the 1080 for a good price, I think that would be hard to justify if you're on a budget going up to a 2070.
Yeah.
That being said, I think there's enough of a performance difference between the 1080 and the 2070, and the fact that the 2070 has all that RTX technology built in, that if you can afford to spend a little bit of extra money and still get a good deal on a 2070, I think it might be worthwhile.
Oh, I agree. I just said I specifically just meant like if you're on a tight budget,
Right.
it'd be hard to justify it.
But then
$90 bucks.
It does feel to me like if you're on that kind of a budget where you're not going to make the jump for future proofing, which we, as we know, sometimes you get there's no actually proofing. Would you rather just go down a step to 1070, Vega 5664, or,
I tell you what, I was talking to Elena from this email that NVIDIA sent me. EVGA is going to have GTX 1070 Ti on sale for $350.
Yeah.
And if you take that and you overclock it, that can get up to near GTX 1080 levels. That would be a lot more tempting to me to buy compared to an RTX 2070 than a GTX 1080.
Right. And then that's enough that you would feel like, yeah, I can't, that's a huge price difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
$200.
Oh, yeah. Alpha Stunna on YouTube's asking, are there any gaming laptops on sale for Black Friday?
There are, but it really depends what range you're looking at. Most of the ones that I'm seeing that have worthwhile, like, oh, that's a pretty decent drop type deal, are in the lower range, like budget kind of builds or budget laptops rather. I did see one pretty decent, I think it was an MSI laptop at Newegg, and it's like all tricked out, so it's got like 144 hertz panel, GTX 1070, but Max Q, it's loaded in terms of the rest of the hardware. I think that one's going to be on sale for like $1,800, so that's not bad. I was talking with one person on Twitter who's looking for was it an Asus ROG Zephyrus, which has the full 1070, and he was asking me if the price he saw was good for it, and it's like in that high range you're really not going to see right now this year. You're not really seeing more than like $100 or $200 off, maybe $300 from the base or normal street price, which I've also realized in doing all this, sorting, that I'm a maximizer. So a lot of things don't excite me unless it's like, ooh, like that's a nice cut.
Yeah.
And it was just interesting to realize that, especially when I was talking to Brad this morning, because he sent me a link for, what was it? The Acer Helios 300, right? And he's like, oh, wow, it's like $200 off. That's great. And I'm like, it could be better.
That's the new model. That's the 6-core model.
I mean,
That's such a
I
good
know,
price
but
for
at
that.
this,
So much.
I know. I think I really am a maximizer where it's like, oh, well, this is the new this is the new like baseline. Let's see how much I can get off of that. Like, it's like, yeah, that's great that it's got 6 cores now. Well, how much can I take off that top?
Well, what was it going for? Like,
it's normally, I think, a street price of like $1,200.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna have it on sale for $1,000.
Yeah.
$999 with
8750H GTX 1060. It's a nice configuration.
Yeah, it's a nice game. It's a 7-pounder, right? It's not like a 4-pound ultralight kind of gaming
No.
laptop, 5-pound.
You're not gonna get that for $1,000.
Doesn't seem like it. I'm at Amazon right now. I just sorted all the laptops for 1060, and of course, Amazon gives me a bunch of 1050 laptops.
So if you're looking in that 1060 range, I would say there's a Dell, the G3 that is similarly configured to the Helios 300, and that's also going for $1,000.
Okay.
The best price I've seen for a true budget laptop is the Dell G3 at Walmart. So that configuration is with a 1050 for $600.
Yeah. And
Which is about last year's best price.
it's not bad, but I got to say these days, I kind of feel like 1050 is getting a little long in the tooth, especially for some of these games. I was talking to Hayden. He was really kind of like off. He was rolling a 1050 Ti that just testing, and he was like, "Yeah, it's not really enough," because he plays nothing but AAA brand new games.
Right.
And it really feels like the base for a 1080p experience these days is a 1060 laptop, not a 1050 Ti or.
That's true, but a lot of people, if they're on a budget,
Yeah, if you're on a budget, but
that's why these laptops exist.
yeah.
Husky Mountain Productions on YouTube's asking, any Intel processors going on sale?
Yes, actually. So it was interesting. So my video from a couple weeks ago, the should you wait to upgrade one, I was wrong on a couple of things, which I'm happy to be wrong about. There are a few deals. They're not substantial. They're not that exciting, at least not to me. But relative to what we've seen for pricing on Intel parts this year, especially in the last few months, not bad. So you can get an 8700K from Micro Center for $330.
Oh.
I think there's a sale on either the 8400 or the 8600K as well. I can't remember the price off the top of my head. Let me look it up real quick.
God, that's such a bummer. I mean, that's just
right.
It's like $330. That's like
used to be
$20 off. It's
well,
high.
not even that used to be the standard street price for an X700K.
Yeah. I know. It's
Like what?
I feel it feels like if you're looking for deals this year on CPU, you got to go red, right?
Yes, definitely. And you have to be willing to go first gen red. So I'll get to that in a sec.
Yeah,
but
what's up with that?
Hold on, I'm answering the question. So Micro Center has an 8600K for $220. A 9600K, which is the only one of the 9th gen parts on sale this season so far that I've seen, is $240. And then the 8700K is $330. And if you want an 8086K, you can get it for $400. These are all Micro Center deals. So if you don't live near a Micro Center, you're out of luck, unfortunately, because they're in store only, and I think it's one per person.
But we are having
one per household.
Oh, jeez.
What?
That's what it actually says on their website.
Do you live together? Are you in the
I
same
guess you
house?
have to pay cash if you want to buy more than one.
Oh, who are you?
I don't know.
We're from Micro Center. We want to make sure you only have one 8700K that you purchase from us. Hold on one second. Honey, hide the other 8700K you said you bought. Flushes it down the toilet. I don't know.
That's funny.
I don't live by Micro Center, so
I don't either, which is probably good for me.
We're going to have a party bus. It's going to be a PC World party bus. Got all the logos on it. We'll come by, pick you up, and then we'll just drive down to the Micro Center. Everybody walks in, gets all their stuff, and then
walk back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. So, yeah, okay. Obviously, the shortage on Intel means ain't no really good deal. I guess they're kind of trying because
They're trying, but it's only Micro Center so far that I've seen. Normally, Amazon and Newegg will match, and the fact that they haven't yet, I haven't checked this morning, but the fact that they hadn't yet when I checked yesterday tells me that this is a Micro Center only loss leader type thing, and the others aren't getting like an incentive or have the willpower.
That makes sense to me, seeing as how prices have been creeping upward for those.
Yeah, I'm looking at 8700K on Newegg right now. It's $339.99.
Oh no, so they are matching it then.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's actually
It's not good, but it is good.
I know. See, that's how I feel this year. That's exactly how I feel about everything. So I guess
you didn't slap me as hard with your left hand as you did with your right hand. I guess that's a little better.
Yeah. So if it's within $10 of the price, then that means that the other retailers are matching it, so to speak.
Right. Okay.
So Micro
That's not
Center is
bad.
typically $10 under what you'll see from like Newegg and Amazon if Newegg and Amazon decide to play ball.
Oh, okay.
We got some people asking about pre-built PCs. Anything cool going on over there?
Okay, so pre-builts I still don't think are as good of a value proposition, which is back to what it used to be, right? Like it was only during the mining craze where it was really made sense to get a pre-built. I did see two that I liked, and one is a CyberPower PC build at Best Buy. Let me see. Do I have... Oh no, I don't have it on my screen right now. It's fairly modest. I really want to know what it is now. Give me a second. Let me log in.
What about
Fill time, everybody. Fill time.
What's everyone's feeling on iBuyPowers?
You mean as far as pricing goes?
Yeah.
I find iBuyPower and CyberPower both have really close. They really love to duke it out. They're close to each other. They love to fight each other on prices and configurations. So iBuyPower definitely is very close in pricing to CyberPower.
And they tend to be pretty reasonable, I think.
Yeah,
if
they're
you buy
both
them at-
extremely reasonable.
Okay. Thanks for filling time, everybody.
We
All
did
right,
it.
so it's $700. It's a CyberPower PC with Ryzen 5 2600, 8 gigs of RAM, RX 580 4GB card, a 240 gigabyte SSD, and a 2 terabyte hard drive. And I priced it out on PC Part Picker, and so this is I think about $40 more than what you could do if you DIY. But this comes I think with liquid cooling for the CPU cooler and RGB lights. So I do feel like the trade-off you get by going this route isn't that bad if you decide to pay that like quote unquote extra. What you're getting is saving on labor and then like the little extra fancy aesthetics. So
How does
There actually is, I think, depending on the kind of person that you are, I think there is a lot of value in the idea of you're buying a PC, if something's messed up, you just go, hey man, something's messed up. CyberPower figured that out.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually, I
Yeah.
was going to ask that. Like, does Cyber do they take care of any problems that you have, or do you have to go to the individual manufacturers?
No, the warranty's
No.
through.
Okay. That's good.
They're full on OEMs. I gotta say, I also know a lot of people like kind of dads and moms like what they're not gonna I'm gonna buy this from Newegg and then build all this stuff on Christmas morning. It's like no. I got my kid. They want to get in PC gaming. They want to graduate from their console, and then they just go out and get that box. Would be perfect, right? They don't have to deal with it. They don't have to think like, oh, like a lot of parents. Let's face it. A lot of Mac parents. A lot of parents are Mac users. They don't know, so they just go out and they buy give me a 700. That's a hell of a deal
It's not bad.
for a 580 with how big is our SSD?
240.
240 and a second gen Ryzen.
Yeah, it's
That's
not bad.
that is a $700. That's
It's not bad. It is a 4 gig card though.
That's fine. That's fine for 1080p gaming.
It is, but I'm just saying, like, don't get too excited.
And I mean, come on, Fortnite. If it's mostly a Fortnite machine,
oh my god,
Right.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
no,
overkill.
This is way overkill. I was like, this is way overkill for Fortnite.
yeah.
And the other pre-built I saw, which is not a gaming PC, but I do like it because of the price. So Dell is having a doorbuster, and it's so annoying, but it starts at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Thanksgiving Day, so the 22nd, Thursday. It's one of their Inspirons, Core i3 8100, 4 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte hard drive, and built-in 802.11n Wi-Fi. $250.
Laptop.
That's perfect if your
No, it's
kid's
desktop.
you just need to do some office work.
Yeah,
And your kid
yeah.
needs a computer for school
Exactly.
or whatever.
That's why I like this one. And the thing is that if you eventually see a deal on like a really cheap card that doesn't require external extra power, you can just pop that right in. I think you should be able to.
Yeah.
Dell's usually accommodate that.
And that's really a lot of I'm probably the biggest hater on Intel IGP, but IGP is plenty for Fortnite. A lot of really basic gaming it's plenty.
I mean, like a computer like that wouldn't even need Fortnite. I mean, you wouldn't get that to play Fortnite on it. You'd get that for
Yeah, just doing homework, being in Google Docs, that kind of thing. So I like those two deals for pre-built desktop systems. I haven't seen anything else that really,
It's
gets
hard
me
having this
excited.
job for me, man. Looking at things like this every day and just being like, I don't really need that. I don't really have an extra $250 right now.
I know. I know. So that's actually one of the reasons why I often tell people, tell me what you're looking for, because the fact that someone else at least gets the deal, like satisfies that part of my brain where it's like, okay, someone took advantage of it. And then I don't have to spend the money.
I've got like 4 or 5 different USB hubs here because I'm like, it's $6 today. How could I not buy a 6 for you?
That's me in battery packs. I think I have like 4 different 5,000 milliamp battery packs because I'm like, it's such a good price.
Yeah. What about panels? We got a lot of chatter about
monitors.
Panels. Yeah.
Okay, so monitors. It was interesting. Last year was like it was raining monitor deals. I was super stoked last year for monitor deals. This year is more modest, like everything else. I would say that the best I've seen is like on the super low budget end, you can get a 20.5 inch IPS monitor for $60. So I mean that's not bad. Let's see if I can find that. Please stand by. Hold music.
All right, I got a killer deal I'm going to run past you.
Uh-oh.
I just found it
Deal
on Slick
time.
Deals.
Deal
There you go.
time.
Wait. Here it is. It is a PNY Attaché USB 2.0 flash drive, 16 gigs, $3. It's like, why even, like, this is just wasting space
Yeah,
on
it
Slick
is.
Deals. I'm sorry. That's just like,
Well, at that point, it's
Come
like
on, I get
it
that at the
costs
gas
them more to
station, right?
ship it to you.
Yeah.
but it's just like, don't waste my time.
Costs more to ship it to you. Why would they do that? Yeah. Okay. So it's an HP 20.7 inch 1080p IPS monitor. $60
For $60.
$60.
All right.
Not bad.
I consider that great.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited to find a 1080p monitor for $100 that has IPS.
I would say these days, just over the course of the year, I would say what's a decent deal for an IPS monitor, 1080p, 24 inches, about $100 is really good. Or it's like, good sale price. And then like this 20 incher, like I would go lower than that. So the $60 is really great.
I didn't hear the size. I'm not a
Yeah.
20-inch fan.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Couldn't
I
do it.
mentioned this to you in the chat the other day, and
No
you're
way.
like, "Get out of here with that, Elena." I was like,
Yeah.
well, "What if we stack them?"
It's full 1080p, but it is 1080p on 20.
It's 1080p.
Wow, that's pretty dense.
Yeah, it's not bad if you like it. that
Yeah,
way.
although I got to say, you got to be careful because sometimes I've seen some pretty substandard IPS panels these
That's
days.
true. That is true.
Can't go off just that, but yeah, definitely.
I think in general it's easier to trust IPS or take a shot on IPS than it is with TN panels.
Yeah, I agree because you get a bad TN panel, ooh, it's bad.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was gonna say. So that's the low end. I would say if you're looking at 1440p or 4K, a lot of the panels on sale are TN panels. They're not IPS. Last year was a lot of IPS panels. So the ones that I'm highlighting tend to be ones that are high refresh rate because obviously, those are going to be TN panels anyway. I did see, there's like a 240 hertz panel at Newegg. It's, so it's a Asus ROG Strix. It's a 24.5 inch, 240 hertz, 1080p TN FreeSync RGB monitor for $330. So I think, for a 240 hertz panel, it's not a bad price. It's not
that's good.
super crazy cheap, but
Are there any
very respectable.
G-Sync panels on
There are
sale?
G-Sync panels.
Really?
Yeah, so there's if you want to go
Not cheap.
super high end with it, there's an Asus ROG Swift 34 inch 1440p 100 hertz IPS G-Sync panel curved monitor for $800 at Newegg.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like,
Let me see what else. There's more affordable ones.
Those monitors are very nice though. Like if you're looking to treat yourself, if you
They
can
are
save a
nice.
couple
They're
hundred
super
bucks on
luxe.
that, those are
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Super luxe. Let's see, I'm not sure.
I just don't think
what
G-Sync
this is.
and budget go together or
I
sale.
think it's
just
Best Buy. What am I looking at here? Yeah, Best Buy is going to have a Dell for $350, 27 inch, 144 hertz, a 1440p G-Sync monitor, which I think is pretty good.
That's not bad. Not bad
Yeah.
at all.
Here's a good question from Alpha Stunna. When I build a PC, should I get a 1080p TN 240 hertz panel or 1440 IPS 144 hertz panel?
Ooh,
Depends what you prefer. Speed or I prefer the clarity and brightness of IPS in general, personally. I think 144 hertz IPS is totally fine for my case, but if you're looking to maximize like, CSGO or whatever, then more speed's always better.
Yeah, I agree. For me, I would go 1440. I like the real estate too that you get out of it when you're not playing games. And I think the 240 hertz is really attractive if you're young And if you really have aspirations to be a competitive gamer, right? Because that's where a lot of these 240s came from is for those competitive gamers.
No, I know. It's just the way you say, like, if you're young.
Yeah, I mean, it's just nicer to have a bigger panel, 1440.
Oh yeah, I'm loving my 4K panel at home right now.
Yeah.
I did notice though that like my poor integrated graphics on my aged not even aging but aged chip. It's like, oh yeah, I need more RAM for this because I'm suddenly maxing out now.
Oh, that's true because you're using IGP. So.
Yeah.
Huh. Dang. Hey, one thing we did skip over is AMD CPU deals because obviously there ain't no Intel great CPU deals. What's happening in AMD land?
Wow.
I just want to make sure.
Everything's on sale, but not much of second gen. It's mostly first gen. So again, predominantly, it's it's at Micro Center. And
Micro Center is not sponsoring us?
No, they're not. I'm just in love with their deals and they know it.
Yeah, I know. Everybody knows it.
Okay, so I'll just start listing off what it's on sale at Micro Center. So $80, the Ryzen 3 2200G. 100.
That's really great.
Yeah, it's really good because that comes with integrated graphics. So if you want like, really respectable budget build, like don't need to buy a discrete graphics card for it, you can go that route. $80 will get you going.
APU.
It's an APU. Thank you. $130 Ryzen 5 1600. That's available at Amazon as well. $140. This one's my favorite. $140 a Ryzen 7 1700X.
Whew.
Yeah. That'll also
remember last year we were so pumped when 8-core chips came out at $500 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting to the 1800X. Yeah. So the 1700X will be available for $150 from Newegg on Black Friday as well. So if that's your jam, you can definitely still get some of that sweet savings. $150 a Ryzen 7 2600. Also available for $160 at Amazon. So 1800X came out at $500, right? Well, this year you can get it for $200 at Micro Center.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And to think only a couple years back, the 10-core chips were $1,723.
We all remember it to the dollar how much it costs.
$240 Ryzen 7 2700. $270 Ryzen 7 2700X. And to finish this all off, $550 for a Threadripper 1950X.
Dang.
How much?
$550.
Although that's kind of what they had come down to at the end of last year. That's a 16-core CPU for $550. That's just like
might as well get two.
Yeah, it's too bad it's not. Yeah, too bad it does not support 2P. But
I think those second-gen Ryzen deals are all right for what they are, though.
Oh, I'm not saying they're bad. They're just not. So remember last year where everyone was basically like going on, an episode of Oprah where it's like, and you get a Ryzen CPU and you get a Ryzen CPU because everything first-gen Ryzen last year just went super deep on sale. And this year it's very modest. It's just, a couple of the second-gen Ryzen parts that are on sale. Still for a decent price, but just a handful.
Something to watch out for if you're buying those first-gen Ryzen deals, though, is one, aside from those couple of APUs that you mentioned, which are second-gen, none of the Ryzen chips, first-gen or second-gen, have integrated graphics, so you're going to need a dedicated graphics card to pair with it. So that would cost, if you're not looking to build a gaming PC, that's something to keep in mind, I think.
Oh, that's true.
And some of the first-gen parts, the X series, the high-end 8-core X series, don't come with CPU coolers either.
Right. Yeah. So you do have to add that. I didn't explicitly mention that in my build. I should have. Dang it. I did it, but I forgot to mention it.
Your builds have everything you need, so that's all that matters.
They do, but I didn't actually explain what part. It was like 3:00 in the morning. I was like, I can't finish this.
I was going to ask you because I see it struck out on your screen. But are there any good RAM deals?
She's not kidding, by the way. I woke up Sunday morning and I'm like, I have 28 missed messages from Elena at 3:00 in the morning.
Well, I just got rolling. I was like, oh, some of these deals expire on Sunday, so I want to publish this as early as I can so people have a chance to take advantage of it. So I just kept going and going and going. And next thing you know, it's like 5 a.m. and I'm like, oh, I should go to bed now.
That's
Or
how
good morning.
dedicated Elena is to your pocketbook here. folks.
Nice.
I'm a little crazy.
So no
Ram-
RAM deals. No.
Not many. There is, let's see, there was a Guile, I don't know how to pronounce it. Guile deal. So DDR4 2400 8 gigabytes for $50, which I think is it's finally reached the price it was like what, a year and a half, 2 years ago when
Yeah.
it was on sale.
Not bad.
Finally. But that's expired. The next deal that I saw coming up that I thought is good is it's a Patriot deal. DDR4 3000 for $60, 8 gigs. So not bad.
That's really not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah. That's, I guess it's back to normal, huh?
It's-
But that's on
No.
sale. That's like the best
Oh.
sales too. The
So
best
think about it.
sales.
If you get some nice sale RAM, pair it with a nice Intel sale, you could be paying the same amount that you paid 2 or 3 years ago. For it.
Yeah, but I'm building around RTX 2080 Ti. Brad.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
sad.
man.
Well, you got people thanking you for finding all these great deals, which they can keep finding on your articles on PCWorld.com. What about up to the second deals on your Twitter?
Yeah, so the way it works is that we're a little scattershot, which is I have an article for the best early deals, which I've been doing my best to keep updated, but I've been busy with other things. So it's not as up to the minute as it was last year. So sorry about that. I'll have an article going up today that lists all the coming deals that are supposed to start on Thanksgiving and Black Friday. But the big caveat, obviously, is that some of those deals could go live early. So if you see something in that list that you like, start keeping track of it now, just in case it goes on sale early. It is possible for things to run out of stock. So you might miss it if you wait until the actual official start time. And then I'll be doing my best to kind of just add to that list as time goes on. And then on Twitter, if I see a deal that looks hot that I know I can't get to right away, I'll probably mention it just so that people have a chance to jump on it. Yeah.
What's your Twitter address?
Oh, I am at Morphing Ball. That's with a G. It's not the drug.
Yeah.
It's a Super Metroid reference. Someone asked on YouTube the other day, they're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Morphine?
Morphine.
And I was like,
Ball.
no, I
Nope.
would have a very different lifestyle if I was Morphing Ball.
Probably not advertised it on the work videos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not so much.
That would not work out. Well, and the actual, so if you want up to date, if somebody's listening to this or watching this and they want up to date information on the latest deals, they can find this where?
It'll be going up on PC World.
Okay.
Yeah,
PCWorld.com.
PCWorld.com. Not PC World, the store in the UK.
Yeah.
We still
Yeah.
get that every once in a while.
We
Yeah.
do. Someone on
No,
YouTube
we're
was
not saying.
upset that they're like, you guys never have the right prices on anything Black Friday. I was like, that's very possible. I don't know anything about the UK.
Now,
Our
would it,
Twitter mentions are always a hot mess.
yeah, I think that's what it's. I know what it's like now to be Will Smith, my former coworker and friend, because everybody say, "Oh, Will Smith is coming." Oh man, is that Will Smith? Can you imagine getting that your whole life? Yeah, I know Will Smith. We're good friends. Oh man, I thought you knew Will Smith. Is this Will Smith? Sorry, Will Smith. If you're listening. This is that way with PC World.
I know.
What I want to know, though, is if you took this list of all your ultra budget, cheap ass, if I can say that on the air, parts, what can you build out of it, Elena? What is the very best Black Friday part PC you can build?
Okay, I'm really excited because I beat last year's by like $100. So last year's, so I've been doing this ever since I got to PC World. So this is my third year doing it. I write an article that takes all of these deals and tries to put together, I try to put together the cheapest gaming PC possible with all the deals. Last year's was a Ryzen 3 build with an RX 560, and I got that down to 370, including the Windows 10 license. That's a big thing about this. This includes the Windows 10 license. This is not one of those like trickery things where it's like, just kidding, here's $120 extra on top of that. And that's using Brad's trick, which I know Gordon is probably going to fight me over in a second here. But last year's 370. This year's 272. And I will show it to you if you don't mind popping it on screen
There we go.
here. Yeah.
Build number 1.
So that is so I did 4 builds this year, 4 sample builds that you could do. And the cheapest of them is build number 1 at 272, and that is a Ryzen 3 2200G. And pretty much as cheap as I could go for the rest of it. Let me bring this up on screen real quick so I can walk through it with you guys real quick. I'm not prepared here, everybody. Sorry. My desktop is quite the mess right now.
Got too many deals open on it right now.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
Deals.
Deals.
It's really impressive, like just how compelling these low-end Ryzen APUs are. Like, you actually can game on them. That's the first time you can really say that about integrated graphics.
That's what made this one so exciting because, I mean, it's 720p probably that you'll be at for the most part, especially in the more strenuous games.
Yeah.
Which is a step down from last year's build because RX 560 could do what's like 1080p at medium for most games. But dang, $272. Like this is a Fortnite machine. Like this is definitely an okay Fortnite machine if you want to get your kids
Fortnite.
going on that, right?
League.
Okay, so and it doesn't even slash like to the bone everything. So my very first
I don't know. I don't think there's much meat on there.
So the very first one I did in 2016, that was like an FX 8350 with like the cheapest freaking like out of date, like was like, I don't remember the chipset anymore. It's so old. Like it was like creaking. That thing was creaky. Okay. Like that's what I mean when you're like going to the bone. But this is a B350 board. It's not an A320 board.
Okay.
So there's room later on if you upgrade the processor, you still have the ability to like overclock if you get a better CPU, right? So there's a little like room there. The RAM's respectable, like 2400. It's a decent speed. It's not like I went super low.
Sure.
For audio listeners,
8 gigs as well.
For audio listeners, why don't you say the actual parts?
I'm sorry, I forgot. So
people can see it on PCWorld.com. But
CPU is a 2200G. The motherboard's a Gigabyte B350 micro ATX board. The RAM is a Guile. Fuck, I can't.
Guile.
I'm really tired. Sorry, everybody.
Call a PC man.
I should bring up the technical difficulties.
Beep. Evo Spear. So this is the part that I really like. Last year it was a one stick of RAM, so a single DIMM, 8 gigabytes. This one is actually dual channel.
Okay.
So you get a little bit, of performance from that.
That's great because that's especially good for the Ryzen chip.
Yep, exactly. That's why I really like this build. And then it's integrated graphics, Vega 8 graphics. Storage is a Kingston drive. It's a A400 120 gigabyte SSD, which is an upgrade from last year, which was Inland, which is, like a little bit not well as known, to say, in terms of brand.
Inland?
Yeah.
I definitely want to store all my critical data on the Inland SSD I've never heard of.
But this year is a Kingston drive, which is a very well-known, respected, reliable brand. Case is a Rosewell Magnetar case for $20, which is actually normally like a $55 case.
Okay.
So that's a pretty good case you're getting. It's actually got two 120 millimeter fans on the front, so there's a little extra cooling you can do in it. Some of the budget builds are like one fan in the front, one fan in the back, and that's it.
Yeah, and there's one in the back. That thing looks all right for 20 freaking bucks.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And then Thermaltake 500 watt power supply, 80 plus bronze power supply for $15 after rebate.
There's some people saying they wouldn't trust that.
Trust
in the
what?
chat. The
power supply?
The power supply.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't really heard any problems with Thermaltake's power supplies.
Yeah, I would trust Thermaltake 8 plus bronze. I wouldn't have any issues buying that.
Yeah, it's the reason why it's so cheap is not because it's naturally that cheap. It's normally like a $50 power supply, but the mail-in rebate is pretty chunky. It's like a $30.
Oh,
it was
wow.
like on sale, and then it's like a $30 mail-in rebate.
I'm going to disagree on that point, though, because you could have got a case with the power supply included with it.
You sure? You sure?
420 watt power
none of those
supply.
are on sale. None of those are on sale.
And this is actually cheaper than buying my. So what I do is I buy the cheap case power supply combo. It's got a no-name power supply on it, and
That's
this
the
is
power
cheaper.
supply that you should be worried
No,
about.
I wouldn't
the one
trust it
that
either.
Gordon.
But it's free. I don't care. How much? Oh, yeah. How you going to complain about how much you paid for it? You paid nothing for it, so you got nothing out of it. No, but I'm just that is cheaper still. That's $35. That's not bad with a thermal take power. I mean, I know people want to chalk trash, but it's a thermal take power supply.
No,
$35.
I mean, Thermaltake 500 watts, 80 plus bronze power supply for $15 is ridiculous. Finding a case like that with the dual fans in the front and a fan in the back and all that space inside, that's also ridiculous. $35. That's not just pretty good. That's great right there.
Yeah, that
I
one
gotta
is
say.
pretty good.
It's better than what I can do with the cheap combo, even, I think.
And then using Brad's trick of buying a license through Kingland. Gordon does not like this. He never does. It's $33
eBay for software.
It's a Windows 10 home license for $33. He added all up. I'm pretty sure I did the math right. I checked it like 5 times. It's $272.
I guess. I mean,
No, it's legit.
it's legit. Why?
legit.
Because, I doubt it's like, well, it's about as legit as downloading a torrent of it. And then I got this key. They said I had to download a torrent. I had to use an Onion server and then get this key. They said to activate it within 1 day. Or
Okay, so I did price out how much it would be if you got a normal copy through a retailer.
Sure.
But here's the tricky part. If you want to save on that, it's $100. Excuse me. It's $100 for the OEM license from Newegg if you buy the DVD version. So you're gonna need an optical drive around to take advantage of that.
Nice.
Otherwise,
Do
it's
it.
$110 for a digital copy.
Nice.
Okay.
How
Still-
bad is that?
Wait, what?
You got to pay more in order for them to ship something to your house.
I know, isn't that weird? Super strange.
No, it's they just don't want e-waste. It's a tax. You got to pay the
Maybe that's
extra.
what it is. But if you do that, that adds like about another $70
Right.
to the build. So that's like $350. Not bad at all still for a build like this.
No, it's really good. I mean, if you roll the dice with that shady license, that's not bad at all.
No, I said
You
$350
pay
with
for
a normal
software.
license.
You get the buyer's protection. You're good to go.
Yep,
If it's bad, you return it.
it's real.
If you want it to be shady and save even more money, you can install Windows and just say activate later and never actually have to activate it.
That's super shady.
And then not personalize
That's
anything.
shady. That's shady.
Super shady. I will say that this is the price before tax and before shipping. So if you live in a state like California where you have high sales tax, you're going to expect to pay another 10% on top of this. And for shipping, I mean, if you're already an Amazon Prime member, you don't have to pay extra for shipping. And then there's a trick, which as far as I can tell, has no repercussions or downsides or anything, is that you can sign up for a 2-year PayPal sponsored trial of ShopRunner, which is similar to Amazon Prime, which gives you like free 2-day shipping at like a select handful of merchants. And one of them is Newegg. And a lot of their like lighter weight products.
Years? 2 years, you said?
Yeah, 2 years. So if you sign up for this trial with an email address, which as far as I can tell, you don't actually need to have tied to a PayPal account, you can just get access to this service and have all your Newegg products shipped to you, 2-day shipping for free.
That's pretty good.
So there's tips in the article about how to sign up and all that. You want to put up the second build?
Yeah, here it is.
I'm going to make you guys walk through all of this because it's show and tell, and I'm super excited about all of this. All right, so build number 2 is pretty much same as build number 1. So 2200G, the B350 board, 8 gigabytes of RAM, the 120 gigabyte SSD, the case, the power supply, all that. The addition is a PowerColor Red Dragon Radeon RX 560 4 gigabyte card for $85, which brings the total up to $357.
Wow.
So that's the cheapest 1080p gaming machine that
And
you can build.
Is
using Black
this like
Friday
solid
deals.
1080p? You know, like
It
medium?
would be visual, like you'd have to dial back the qualities,
Oh,
visual
okay.
quality, depending
Yeah.
on the game.
1080 medium, kind of like.
Yeah. One thing to note, though, is that if you're looking at reviews of the 560 and performance, this card is actually one of those sneakily not quite full 560 cards. It's got what, 896. What is it? I know.
Oh,
60.
Stream
It's a
processors?
full
Is that what they're
stream-
called?
yeah, why don't we-
Stream processors. And the full fat one is like, what, 1024? 1000?
I don't know the
Yeah.
numbers off the top of my
Yeah,
head.
I was
but
looking it up and I can't remember now. But just keep in mind, you won't get exactly quite that performance. You'll probably lose like a few frames.
That's the
when you're playing.
lamest trick ever. I still think this is a good buy, but that's the lamest bull crap ever.
No, I completely agree. And here's the reason why I think this year's deals aren't quite as good as last year's. Last year, that card was 70, 75. This year, it's
Oh.
85.
lame.
6 months ago, you probably would have paid $120.
I know, but that's what I mean. Like this is good for what the market was this year, but it's not still as good as I remember it. I remember deals, everybody.
We got somebody.
Not last year. The shitty cut down version didn't exist. That
Oh boy.
was
Short week.
Is it Thursday yet?
Yeah.
Need some turkey.
Yeah, well, we got somebody on YouTube chat, Zero Games for Me, saying that
Oh,
you
sad
can save
name.
$20 by not putting this in a case. You know?
It's true.
Yeah, right?
You know, and I gotta say, normally, well, not this build, but normally I gotta say that the caseless, on your motherboard box build is dangerous because I'm always afraid I'm gonna wobble that GPU out while it's running, which I've done before, and it usually survives. But I think with the APU build earlier, you really could just lose the case
Yeah, you know what?
because there's no adding cards. The only problem is you spill coffee on it or something. But
Oh,
I saw
man.
a build on the R S word I just said Battle Stations PC subreddit that they had a no case thing and they just suspended it from fishing lines from their drops.
Oh my God.
yeah, see, I don't think I would do that. Fishing line is just it lets go at one point.
Oh man. All right.
Ruruchi says, don't take PC building advice from Gordon.
Yeah. Hey.
All right. So before I move on to build 3, I just want to say for builds 1 and 2, there are 2 upgrades I do suggest just for a better experience overall. One would be to upgrade. Well, that's already in build. That's already in my build. One would be to upgrade the RAM to that Patriot set that I mentioned earlier. Ryzen, the Ryzen 3 2200G definitely benefits in performance when you pair it with faster RAM. So when you're playing games, it'll actually, like Gordon's benchmarks from his review of the 2200G definitely show that. So that's my recommendation. It's only $10 more. And then I would also pair a 1 terabyte hard drive as well with this system, just because 120 gigs are going to fill up really fast and you want something to put your games on. And I think that's like $38 right now through Micro Center. You can get it for a couple bucks more through Amazon Newegg. So still a pretty decent price for the build. I think it bumps it up to, let me look. I can't think off the top of my head. $320 for build 1 and $405 for build 2 if you do that.
And Pseudosoul says, don't forget to add RGB for 50+% FPS increase. So,
So no, it can't be RGB. It's red lights that improves performance.
whoops.
Oh.
Okay.
Nice try.
All right, build number 3.
There it is.
All right, so build number 3 is the cheap 1080p gaming PC that I would build. I'm really excited about this one. I like this one a lot. So CPU is an AMD Ryzen 5 1600. Motherboard is an MSI B450 board. The Patriot Viper 4, DDR4 3000, 8 gigabytes of RAM. And that is also still, a pair of 2 DIMM sticks, so you get dual channel performance. Let's see, a Power Color Red Dragon RX 570. It's 4 gigabyte version. Boot drive is an Intel 545S 256 gigabyte SSD. And that one is exciting to me because it has really good performance. It's a fast drive. It's pretty speedy. The storage is the 1 terabyte hard drive. And then the same case and power supply mentioned in builds 1 and 2. So that's that Magnetar case and that Thermaltake power supply. When you add everything up, it's $531.
That's really
I
really
really
good
like,
for
yeah.
TV. All
I
those
really
cords.
like this one. Exactly. So I mentioned in the build notes that, you could downgrade this, right? Like you could still pair, swap in a cheaper CPU, drop in a cheaper motherboard and, downgrade the SSD. But I like this build because it's kind of cushy, right? Like you have this room to grow with it, and it gives you it has a lot longer legs to it that I think you could comfortably use this for a few years. And then even in a few years, you could say, oh, you know what? I'm just going to upgrade my graphics card and you'll be fine.
Right. Or even the CPU.
Yeah.
In a couple of years, who knows how much the second gen parts will go for.
Yeah,
So
you'll be fine. You won't have to do a lot of heavy upgrading.
And if you could remind people real quick where you got that Windows 10 license for
Kingwin.
people who Kingwin, like a penguin,
Kind of like a penguin.
I got it
King
from this
penguin.
guy down in the corner. Just go down the alley,
I know
make a
someone who's
left,
got this truck in this
back
alley.
down the dresses. Hey.
Yeah, Gordon does not approve.
No, I just,
I know. I'm just saying, but there's nothing stopping you from buying a normal license through Newegg or Amazon or another retailer. So
I got a great CPU from that way. It's totally sketchy.
yeah, so I like this. Lots of cores.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Because you're going from, so the 2200G is a 4-core, 4-thread process or part. And this is going to 6 cores, 12 threads.
What's the price differential on the CPUs between that mid-grade and your the one you build?
80 and 130.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
$50 difference.
Yeah, I'd probably do that too.
Yeah.
I mean, with the 570 too. The 570 is definitely a solid 1080.
Yeah.
1080 high, right? 1080 to very high.
1080
Most games.
ultra in a lot of things, but high at the worst. Yeah.
And the motherboard I like too because it's only $10 more than the other one that I mentioned in builds 1 and 2, but this is a B450 board, so it's the latest chipset. You get the whole StoreMI support and all that.
Yeah, God, I remember we used to just, well, of course it's Black Friday, but you used to kill yourself just to build a $500 computer. I mean, they were just like,
And this is a very nice computer for $500-ish.
yeah.
Yeah, like you're saying, you fluffed it out a bit.
Yeah, I did. Like I said, this one has more meat on its bones than the other two, and I like that a lot. So let's wrap it up with build number 4.
Okay, I want to hear this one.
This one is my favorite of the bunch. This is the one I would actually do if I was going to build a new system, and I was tempted, actually. I was like, no, Elena, you don't need a new build. You don't need a build, but I want
I
to.
think
It'd
you
go
do.
your new monitor. Just saying.
It would. It really would. So build number 4 is the cheap 1440p gaming machine that I would build. And this one has an AMD Ryzen 7 1700X, a Hydro H60 for cooler, the B450 board that I mentioned earlier, the Patriot memory that I mentioned earlier, an RX 580 8GB card, and then the same Intel SSD, same hard drive case, and as previously mentioned, and then I'm swapping in a larger, not larger, but more wattage power supply, 650 watt Corsair 80 plus bronze for it's like, what is that, $40? This is my favorite part. I said the word favorite like 3 times already, but one of the things that I enjoy most about this build is the fact that the price the total comes to $666.
Chad is very excited about that.
That will not sell in some parts.
They're calling
of the
it
country.
Satan's machine.
Yeah, that's Satan.
I did say in my build notes, I was like, this is a really appropriate price because this is a beast of a machine. And technically, I could actually go cheaper on that power supply. I could have picked a 600 watt power supply, EVGA power supply for like $55, or sorry, not $50, like $35. So I've saved $5, but I wouldn't have that total.
So you intentionally made it evil.
No, I actually just forgot about the EVGA one,
Oh, okay.
and I saw this Corsair one, and then I realized I could have gone $5 cheaper. But I do like having a little extra wattage in case you upgrade down the road or get like a graphics card that needs more,
It's worth it.
needs more power.
What was the previous? What was the other price of your previous build? This is $660. What was the other one?
531.
God, that's
Something that makes both of those builds even better is if you pick up an RX 570 or an RX 580 these days,
Oh yeah, free games.
you get 2 out of 3 high-end games that are coming out early next year for free. So
that is a nice build. That last one is really appealing because I thought it was really going to get pricier, but
No, I think for a jump of about $130, this is a very worthwhile jump.
yeah, you're getting 8 cores, 1440 medium, maybe. I wouldn't really push it.
high.
High,
You can go
really?
high.
Okay,
They can go high with an 8 gigabyte 580 these days for most games.
for
Yeah,
most games.
yeah, I like this one a lot.
That is, God, I think the toughest thing is it's so close between your low end and the high end. Well, the price. I mean, I could see. I mean, if you're into gaming, the top end one is really just appealing. Why? To me, the middle ones are sort of like, I wouldn't do the middle ones. I'd do that top end one. So
I think what I like about having these 4 builds is that there's kind of
Gordon's
something
got
for
the money.
everybody, right? Like at each step, there is something that you can do.
oh yeah,
Which is not the case that I've seen in other years. Sometimes it's just very skewed towards one or the other,
oh yeah. No, it's true. I mean, it really is. I mean, that's just a nice. You get that spread all the way from lower res esports all the way up to 1440p gaming.
Yeah. So this project worked out really well this year, which surprised me, given that the deals on the whole are much more conservative.
Wait, hold
as
on.
a
You
group.
forgot to mention build 5. I'm
there's
seeing
one more?
Yeah, I'm seeing on this page build 5 is you can get a 4K option. It's an Xbox One X for like $400. You know?
Yeah.
There you go. So you're getting 4K. You're stepping up to 4K, but
How
it's
much
even
does an
cheaper
Xbox
price.
cost? I forget.
Xbox One X is on sale for $400 this Black Friday. The best deal I've seen is one that bundles in, I think, PUBG. Oh, God, I can't remember. It's PUBG and one other game that like is pretty popular for that $400.
So it would
PUBG sucks.
Yeah, but people want to play it, right? So
Yeah.
compete with your $400 box there with the 570, right? I guess you were about.
well,
4.
it's weird because the GPU in the Xbox One X is a custom part, and I think it's like it's kind of 580-esque in some ways.
Oh, I just mean
but-
on price. I don't mean
price.
actually like pure satisfaction or performance. I don't. We already know what I think.
It's just
about
hard to compare. It's very, very apples to oranges.
that. Yeah, it is. But I mean, I gotta say,
4K 30. Would you rather have 1440p, 60 or 4K 30? I'm just kidding. That's true.
Oh, I'm just thinking. You
I know-
could
I know.
Really,
Look on Gordon's
Yeah.
face, like, is that
It's
really
like,
a question?
What should I get?
it's just nice to. I mean, there really are a lot of console players who want to graduate to PC gaming, the greatness of PC gaming, and you can just. You're looking at 400 for Xbox One X versus 666 for your top end build. I'd go for that PC instead.
I know
Oh,
you would,
really?
Gordon.
Really?
Like, but that's not really a shocker
Huh?
to either
And
me or
two
Adam.
games.
Hold up.
Yeah, I know.
It's true that you get 2 games with the RX 570 or RX 580, but you also get potentially 2 games with the Xbox One X as well. So it just really depends on what your taste is.
The
Yeah,
best
but
part.
it's a console version of PUBG.
I know.
The best part is when I try to use Photoshop with my controller. Right.
Hey,
That's just so-
Xbox now has mouse and keyboard support.
That's true. I don't think they do for that though.
Yeah, it's only certain games right now.
Yeah, at some point they're just gonna give up and just like, whatever. You will run a full version of Windows 10, mouse and keyboard. That would be interesting if they just did that. It would be the Microsoft gaming PC, Xbox.
Oh, it's Rocket League. That's the other game.
Oh, good game.
That's a good game.
But also not very expensive.
Huh. Well, those are some pretty nice builds. Do we have any input from the
any more
peanut gallery?
questions?
Yeah, it's weird. Everyone's saying that you should totally get the Xbox One X. It's just a great deal. Like everybody is totally.
I mean,
on
I have
board.
one.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
have one.
Yeah,
I wrote this article and I still have and play it.
She wrote it on the Xbox One. That's why it took so
It
long.
really is a good deal though. It really is. Like if you don't mind doing that stuff, that's a good deal. The Xbox One X for $400.
No, I just look at the deals on these computers here. These PCs, Word, you can do Office, you can do Photoshop, you can do your browsing, you can do all that. What is the? I'm just sorry that value.
Hey, you can do browsing on an Xbox One X. There's Edge.
Why are the people pretending that when you buy your console, you don't need a computer? You still need your computer, so that's an additional cost on
top of it. You got a phone. It's just phone and a console.
Like,
You're good.
Yeah, let me turn in my homework from my phone.
So just to smooth over the feelings here, I will end the Xbox One discussion or Xbox discussion with a funny anecdote from my days of working at Xbox Magazine, official Xbox Magazine. There is a surprising number of people who use their Xboxes or consoles to look at adult material. It's like
makes sense. If you want to think about it, it makes sense. I don't have a console.
But the navigation, especially, and this was the Xbox 360 days, the navigation would
so bad.
Yeah, why would you do that?
I remember the first day that the 360 got a browser. It was garbage, but I put up one of my reviews and like, hey mom, I'm on TV now.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Well,
don't count it out, Gordon.
Look, it's possible.
Will do
you can watch. Yes, it's a good consuming box. It's not a creation box. Yeah. PC is consuming, creation.
If what you're consuming is porn.
Yeah. You can consume anything. Hey, this family show.
Also, I got to say, no, we've lost that. I definitely have to say that as somebody who pores over our YouTube stats, there are people definitely watching from consoles. We still get like a couple views a month from a Wii.
Is it just that one person?
I don't know. Probably
that
just
would be
one
amazing.
person.
Just one person who looks at youtube.com/PCWorld.
Yeah, and
the person listens to this and goes, "Yeah, that's me."
He's like, "It's me, it's me." Yeah.
I'm just saying the whole price, because you always get the constant. It's just not.
All right.
You can't throw the price in there because you also have to include the cost of your computer or laptop to do your creation.
Peter Jansen is asking, "What do you expect from Ryzen 3? Speculate."
What do we expect from Ryzen?
Oh, Ryzen 2.
Ryzen 3.
It's technically Ryzen 2 because we are at second generation Ryzen. Oh. So we will be from first generation Ryzen 2. I think that almost makes sense, right? It doesn't really. I think AMD wants to catch up on this. So like Intel is really successfully, this is 8th generation. Oh, this seems like KB Lake, same thing, plus. But, they've really successfully branded the generational thing. And I think AMD, like Xbox and Sony, sort of that whole war, like Xbox 360 was a way to not call it against PlayStation 2, was a way not to, it just the number for consumers works better. But anyway, it's second generation Ryzen. I expect it'll be 7 nanometer. I expect, I think we're going to get higher IPC, very decent higher IPC, and also higher clocks. I mean, it's going to be an all around win. And if Intel can't get its 10 nanometer parts out next year, the whole like issues we have had with Ryzen OS being somewhat worse than Core in gaming, I think once that's erased, next year is going to be a really tough year. Intel's got to have 10 nanometer next year. I don't know what else they're going to do.
Good year for us.
It's a good year for everybody, consumers, and ultimately, even for Intel fans, it's a good thing because then Intel's like, we got to get in this battle. So.
Maybe we'll see some Intel sales next Black Friday.
Yeah, maybe we will. But I expect, it's gonna be a monster part. Higher clocks, higher IPC, more cores. It's just all every kind of lever AMD can sort of line up for the next year. It's gonna be a fantastic year for AMD next year, I think.
I really would love to see Intel parts go like on true sale. I remember getting my Devil's Canyon chip for I think $300.
God, that's so cheap, right?
I think
for
it was
$47.90.
Might have actually been cheaper at one point. I think it actually went after I bought it. It went even lower to like $285. Micro Center in-store deal.
And those are good parts, really good parts at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the best of the Haswell parts. So, it would be nice, right? But I think it's, hell, next year it's gonna be a good year for consumers. So.
All right, we're running out of time, so I've some more questions, but I'm going to cut people off. No more questions. Dipmeister on Twitch, any 1070 Ti deals?
Yes, we mentioned them earlier. 350, you said, right, Brad?
350 for an EVGA Ultra model, which is a custom model with a dual fan.
Ooh, nice.
And that's pretty good. Where are you finding that deal? Is that actually on EVGA or?
No, that's on Amazon, I believe.
Oh,
I
okay.
can.
No, that's good. Just so people know they can go search. Kind of like they can set that bar for 10. And 1070 is definitely well worth it. Recommended over a 580 and a 1060.
Well, this is a TI, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a TI.
Yeah.
So.
1070 Ti, $350 on Amazon and Newegg. EVGA GTX 1070 Ti Ultra. For the same price, there is a blower version. If you need to go for that, go for that. Obviously, get the custom card if you can.
Yeah. And that starts on Black Friday, or was it Thanksgiving?
11/23.
Yeah, Black
so
Friday.
I think Black Friday.
That's actual Black Friday. Yeah.
Now, for people who don't remember, that was NVIDIA's Vega 64 spoiler, right? That was just, they came out of that just to mess with AMD.
Yeah. Because Vega 56 was just slightly faster than the GTX 1070, so they go, okay, we'll make a card that's just slightly faster than the Vega 56.
And the best thing is it's the card that nobody allowed you to, they would not allow people to overclock it. So there was a lot of overclocking headroom because they didn't want to mess with the 1080 parts. So good part to have.
Rusty has a question. Is now a great time for SSDs and NVMe drives in terms of price to storage, or would hard drives still have the upper hand? Should I wait for the former to keep going down in price?
I mean, it depends how much space you need, right? Like if you're going above 2 terabytes, I mean, you have to go with the hard drive.
For cost.
For cost, yes. But I mean, also just, you can't get a 12 terabyte SSD yet.
You can if you want to basically do it in payments over 5 years.
10 years. As for the SSD prices, I do think they're going to keep dropping. Nobody really knows when they're going to bottom out. But as I said in a previous video, I think that even if you buy now, the prices are so good you won't be that disappointed because you'll get to enjoy it now rather than later.
Check this out, though.
Up to a terabyte, I would say. If you're shopping for anything up to a terabyte, just buy an SSD.
Yeah, I agree. But, cost, you can't beat it. Look, I'm looking at Amazon right now. Seagate Barracuda, 8 terabyte drive, $200. I know, of course, people are like, what do I need 8 terabytes for? Yeah, we all do. I do. In fact, I'm like, maybe I should buy.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a big, I'm trying to store a bunch of music or a bunch of movies, something that doesn't need the speed, then hard drives still make a lot of sense price-wise. But if you're running games off of it and running programs off of it, get an SSD every time. Up to a terabyte, the prices are insane right now.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a need for speed.
Yep.
2 more serious questions and 2 more silly questions, fun questions. Jeremy Hansen, do you think Navi will try to aim for the high end better than 2080 Ti, or you think it will go low, mid end, and ray tracing support?
I doubt it will have dedicated ray tracing support. And who knows what we're going to wind up seeing from it performance wise. I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of like Polaris in that it targets more of the mid range things. I also wouldn't be surprised if we see high-end versions. AMD hasn't talked much about it yet, and I try not to speculate too much. But I don't expect not RTX because that's NVIDIA. I don't expect ray tracing support to be involved because a senior Radeon guy recently said, "Look, we're only interested in ray tracing when you can do it from the bottom of the stack to the top of the stack," and I think it's too early for that.
But one thing I do think is that AMD will be well positioned for current games, non-ray trace, because their entire die, since they're not going to do ray tracing, probably will all be dedicated for conventional gaming, or what do you want to
classic
call it today?
Gaming,
classic, legacy, whatever games that are out today. So they will be an advantage.
Normal.
Normals.
All right, Whiskey Omega on Twitch. Should I go for this gen of Threadripper or wait for the next one?
It depends. I mean, if you're looking at Threadripper 2nd generation, great, fantastic part. You are obviously looking at it for work, for professional things, for serious work. I would say pay for it now. For professionals, the cost of the hardware really pays for itself. You save in speed, you save in time. I would do it now if you really need it. If you're just like, hey, I just like the sound of 32 cores or whatever, or 16 cores at high clocks, then yeah, I would say, yeah, it's always better to wait. If you're just kind of like, if you're looking for bragging rights, you can always wait. But if you are a real professional, and that is what these high-end Threadrippers are aimed for, then it's worth it today.
They are on a 4930K, 6-core, 12-thread.
Yeah, so probably, yeah, because you're already big socket Intel, so I would do it, yeah. the second gen 16
Especially
core.
because while Ryzen typically launches in like March or April, Threadripper doesn't launch till like July typically the past 2 years. So I mean that's 8 months out, 9 months out. So
a long
if you
wait.
need it for work, do it now.
Do it now.
And I will say real quick, there are some sales on second gen Threadripper right now. They're just not substantial, so I didn't mention them. But Micro Center has like 50 or $100 off. I think 50. It's pretty modest, but you get a tiny discount.
Yeah. And of course, the caveat is do your research first, because these high-end parts, Skylake X, Threadripper, they're very much tuned. They're very different beasts. If the applications you're using really don't need all those cores, really need maybe more memory bandwidth, or like Intel, or use AVX2 or whatever, you got to go with what your applications that you use as a professional work best on, not for what sounds better. 32 cores may not actually outperform what you even have now in certain applications for what you're doing. So make sure, do your research first.
Real quick, we do have a comment. Somebody says we should build the $666 build and benchmark it. That'd be kind of fun.
I would love to
yeah.
if I had the budget for it.
All right, 2 more questions. A gentleman on YouTube: could Gordon's wallet be any thicker? It's taking up too much space on the desk.
And I've cleaned it out. It's thicker than my phone. So
How do you all not get back problems from sitting on wallets that thick?
I keep mine in my front pocket.
Yeah,
It's harder to pick.
I used to carry in the back, and I switched to the front a long time ago. But also, I have a nice little clip.
Oh,
that's
nice.
not even a wallet.
Yeah.
What is that? Hipster wallet?
I've got like I don't know, cards in here, and then cash clip. In
See,
the
this
front.
is the
I
dad
like this guy.
wallet.
This
I
is
got
the
like
Ridge.
Band-Aids in here. I got
Yeah, I got
Band-Aids in
this.
here. And I got this too. Look, USB-C to
A dongle in your wallet?
Dude,
of course.
you know what
of
else I
course.
have in
it's
here?
Gordon. It's Gordon.
So the answer to your question is yes, he could put more in there. This is just the beginning.
I got some safety pins in case my pants split. I got Band-Aids.
Wait, how many safety pins?
And I also have, I don't know why I have 2. It must have, I also have this. This is the
man.
most important thing ever. So this is what you need. This is a micro USB to USB-C. So what this is like you're outside, you're like, oh my God, there's a zombie apocalypse. I need to charge my phone. Can I use your charge? You got Lightning, or you got, everybody's got micro USB. I have to carry this with me. USB-C. USB-C sucks.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of requests to see Gordon's everyday carry, his bag, his wallets. We should do a video. We should really do a video on what you carry with you every day.
Sure.
Because knowing what you carry, it's comical, and the video might be kind of long.
Especially, I guess if he's pulling out dongles out of his.
Hey, I was at CES.
Two of them.
I was at CES, and Ryan from Creative Labs is like,
man.
dude, do you have a USB-C cable? I was like, yeah, I got it in my wallet. I gave him my dongle, and then we started to joke about it's like, I don't know. I don't want to get into this. I don't want to get
All
us
right.
in trouble about what guys used to keep in their wallet, because they think
Yep.
they'd need it. You never needed it because, dude, you never needed it.
Yep.
But this stupid dongle you will need.
I've actually got a Magic the Gathering Circle of Protection white card inside of my wallet, so I can every now and again just bust it out and make a yo, it's got to carry protection joke.
That's pretty good.
That's amazing. Because unlike the other thing we're referencing, that won't actually go bad in a wallet.
Yeah, and it's just
For like a
whatever.
decade.
Somebody on YouTube says, I bet he has an Xbox in his wallet.
Yeah, I do, because that's all it's good for.
Yeah.
I sit on one at work.
There you go.
Like when oh, my seat's too low, I need to raise my ass. I just put that Xbox One S.
No language filter on this one at all.
Whatever. It's
We're going to have to
long
put an
gone.
advisory.
And we have somebody saying that they used to respect you and they really want to love what you do, Gordon, but you're sitting behind this Apple laptop and it just really, really pisses them off.
I know it's really hard to see, but Apple makes the very best laptops. And the reason why I will show you is you can do this. You can't do this on PCs. Well, you can only do that on Apple laptops.
Yeah.
See?
Yep. The new Apple convertible.
Now,
from
this
HP.
is the XP Spectre X360 that Apple sells. It's the best thing ever. Pen, touch, It's reasonably priced,
It's
which is
running
why
Windows
look,
10.
I'm not afraid to say that Apple makes the best laptops. That's why I use them. If I could get touch and pen in an Apple laptop, I mean in an HP or a Dell or whatever else, I would do it. But only Apple has pen, touch, convertible,
And Windows 10.
and Windows 10.
All right, last question to run off into the long weekend for us. What will we be eating and drinking for Turkey Day?
Beer.
They
Just
asked
only
last
beer?
week. This is from Cyberclue. I'm sorry, forgot to say the name.
I suppose I could start with cider.
Wait.
I have no idea. I have family around and they cook for me and it's great. And I show up and eat
amazing.
whatever they make.
It's my favorite.
Turkey and gravy. You know the best thing is turkey, gravy, and rice.
Yeah, rice.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So
Like, wait, rice in the turkey?
No, you put the gravy on it.
So what he's talking about is something I was about to reference for my selections is that Chinese American Thanksgiving dinners are like this blend between the traditional American stuff and then
Okay.
just like stuff we like to eat.
So noodles.
So
No.
like you'll always have white rice. You'll always have white rice available, and then a bunch of whatever other Chinese like dishes. Like my family does this like I don't know what the English word for it is. I guess it's like a sticky rice with like bits of sausage and
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm talking about,
That's
and
good
like
stuff.
other Chinesey type things in there. And then we'll also have like ham and turkey and like meatballs and those other kind of stuff. So you just basically get the best of both worlds when it comes to gluttony. It's amazing.
Oh, interesting. Generally, I got to say it's almost, although see my wife's side, it's Japanese. We get a couple Japanese appetizers, but it's like it's normal, traditional. There's honey glazed ham. There's turkey.
Never been a big
There's
fan of
gravy,
ham.
lots of gravy, and then there's potatoes, and then there's also rice because it's actually it's pretty good with the rice. I mean, it's a good mix. You put some pepper on there, black pepper on there, and of course cranberry. Now I gotta say, two kinds of cranberry:
How about
Come on.
biscuits?
cranberry jelly,
are good, too.
like the stuff that's like the jelly, or the actual. That's what I like. It's not you don't want it has to be
The
the jello
cranberry?
side. What? Yeah.
Cranberry. It's any sort of cranberry is the devil's work, and I avoid it
Yep.
like the plague.
Just like that 666
Especially
build.
canned stuff.
What?
You know,
you gotta have the cranberry
When,
sauce.
when we build that 666 build, we just put a can of cranberry sauce inside of it.
Well, you don't like the cranberry either.
No.
What the
never.
heck?
Got standards, man.
Yeah, can't do it.
Just,
You're from the Northeast.
just like that 20-inch monitor. Can't do it because it's got standards.
Yep.
I think that my feelings about cranberry are irrelevant because there are certain things you have to consume for certain health things as a woman. So I kind of have to keep cranberry in my diet.
I just think the turkey, because not every I like dark meat turkey.
Yes, sir.
Once you go through that
yeah.
though, then there's nothing left on your thirds, not your seconds, but on your
Yeah,
thirds.
you got to mix
there's
it.
nothing
you
but the
gotta
white
mix
turkey,
it.
right?
You got to mix it because then you don't want the situation where you've got like white at the end. Like you have to mix it going through.
No, because
Yeah.
look, Adam, you don't know. Look, you're at this thing. There's 20 or 30 people there. You do the dark meat first. Leave everybody else the dry white turkey meat. And
Oh, you're
the
that guy.
Yeah,
yeah.
dude. Yes.
Should have got in line sooner.
Last week we were provided lunch here at work, and he had eaten noodles for breakfast, and then when he got to lunch, the lunch line, he's like, "Hey, everyone ate all the noodles."
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, you just had noodles for breakfast."
Doesn't
But
matter.
still,
The idea that he couldn't get in on it
Yeah.
is the problem.
The tricky part about Thanksgiving is figuring out how much I can eat for the first course. We'll still have enough room for all the pies and whatnot at the end.
Oh, you guys do pie?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, yeah.
pumpkin pie, all
Dude,
We
kinds
don't
of.
do dessert in
my
my
mom
family.
used to make pumpkin pecan pie. That was the good
Can
stuff.
your family adopt me?
Yeah.
Well,
This
but
is
you
one of my
can't.
favorite things.
Yeah.
We're two, like me and my wife are bringing two of them plus a cake, and like everybody brings some. Like it's a second meal of pies and stuff.
Do you
at
do the
end.
Costco one? Like their pumpkin pie is like
Dude,
this
yeah,
ginormous,
pumpkin
amazing
man.
thing.
Just put your face in it. One day, I just want to put my face in a pumpkin pie. Just,
You know what
Just
I-
for fun. I don't know. I'll do it.
I'm gonna bring up my warmest ever Thanksgiving memory.
Oh,
and that is not all this family stuff, but like Half-Life had come out right before Thanksgiving.
20 years ago.
Nice.
I was just playing Half-Life for like 3 days. The original Half-Life. None of this 2 or
Nice.
whatever. No.
Came out on the PS2. You were playing it there, right?
Yeah, sure.
Orange box.
Yeah, you know, and my wife, something that we hadn't done until I married my wife. She makes a really good green bean casserole. We'll rock that out. There's a couple people in the chat who love that as well. So
I've never had that.
yeah,
What's in
it's
it?
really good. I don't know. I don't know how to cook. Don't ask me these things. It's just good. It's creamy. I think it's cream of mushroom, green bean, some other stuff. It's got some of that fried onion, the flaky
Yeah.
fried onion
Oh, that
stuff on
sounds good.
top, and
Yeah.
Sounds
probably
interesting.
cheese. I don't know. It's awesome. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's hearty too. Like my wife doesn't really eat much meat, so she brings that every year because it fills her up.
So, my ex-wife was vegan and I was vegetarian for like 12 years. So I actually like tofurkey. I don't know if any of you have ever had
Really?
tofurkey, but yeah,
No.
I mean, don't think it's turkey. It's not turkey, but like for what it is, you know, as just a thing that you eat, it's actually not too bad.
If you deep fry it, I bet it's probably pretty good because one of my favorite things to eat for like Chinese dishes is just like deep fried tofu. Like, so good.
Yeah. Well, no,
Like
it
crispy
doesn't have the
outer
consistency.
skin and,
It's definitely not the consistency of tofu.
Oh, really?
Oh no, yeah, definitely
okay.
not. It's hearty. It's like a. It's
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
It's a solid
Yeah,
thing.
they put a little
it's actually
plaster
really
in
good.
there and make it like firmer. right?
Yeah, like concrete, harden it up.
Gordon is not a fan of what you're describing.
No. Well, we had a Halloween party. and-
hey, inside the middle of it, it has rice. There you go. You
Okay,
might know.
but we had a Halloween party.
Oh,
and
I had
somebody
a
was.
turducken once. That was weird.
I don't know
what?
what that is.
You guys have ever tried a turducken?
Never tried it. I mean, I've
It's
heard of it. I never had it.
Oh, it's so good.
I'll let you describe it, Brad.
It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a duck inside of a chicken inside of a turkey. Then you fry it.
Yeah, my aunt made one year. She just said, I don't know what this is like. I want to see what it's like. It's very greasy. It's very heavy. It is very delicious in small quantities. And then after you eat it, you will curl up on the couch and take a nap for like 3 hours.
You feel like crap, but in a good way.
Wait, hold on. Say this again. I'm
You've never heard of this?
Is
It was
Rurutu?
such a thing for a while.
Is this? I don't. Rurutu might be making this up. Chicken inside of a duck inside of a turkey.
Yes, that's what
Yeah,
it is.
like the name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really?
yeah.
How the
does it
hell do
even
they
work?
get them to go inside each other before you kill them? I don't know.
You got to find the special turkeys. Ducks or whatever.
But when you talked about like stuffing the rice inside, like that's my first thought. I was like, why would you go with rice when you could just do the turducken?
Shove it with a duck instead.
I don't
but,
get it.
Hold on. Do you like? Okay, so you cook it that way. Maybe there's a special flavor profile that mixes them all. But then, do you take them out separately and eat them
It's
separately?
like
or
a
you,
roll basically, right? So like not
What?
a roll, but
A
like
roll?
you cut it so it's like you
Wait,
get
you
all
cut
three.
the turkey in half and then
No,
you just
they're
see
inside. They're inside each other.
I know, but the turkey has bones. The these all have bones.
No.
I don't know how you cook it. I think you have to debone it to do it.
Okay.
I gotta say though, as far as my fowl, like in that list, it would be duck, then turkey, then chicken.
Really?
right?
Duck is the best. I
Duck
agree.
is the
Duck
best.
is always
yeah.
best. So
See, I can't get
why are you gonna miss the
Have you not
premium
had
duck
Chinese roast
with the
duck?
low end chicken?
like
I just-
once, and it was okay.
What?
I-
Get out.
Why not
But
just eat the duck? Why not just
find
eat
me
the
a
duck?
place that has a really good duck, and I'll try it.
Have we lost everybody yet? Have we
Yes,
lost everybody?
I'm hungry.
What's
yeah.
everybody else eating?
Our viewership has gone down
They're
by
like,
at least
"Oh,
50,
yeah."
and they're calling us a food world instead of PC world. Anyway, yeah. So we should probably wrap it up.
I want lunch now.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
Yeah, you gotta have a turducken.
Pizza.
Hell no, I'm gonna get the turducken and then I'm gonna peel off that turkey and then throw away the chicken and
Put
just
it on
eat
the-
The duck.
Check
He
back
would. He
for
would.
your. Check back next week for your fix of the PC Talk on the Full Nerd. For audio listeners, subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. And also, please leave a review. Every time you do, it makes Mickey Mouse happy with us. And maybe we can get that Disney sponsorship without the
Nope.
harsh language.
Nope.
Hey!
Too late.
Send questions and comments to the Full Nerd at PCWorld.com. All I get is spam. Thanks for coming. I'm Gordon Ung with Brad Charkis,
Have a happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Elaine Yee,
Happy eating, everyone.
and Adam Patrick Murray will take us out.
And check us out next time on The Full Chef. See you guys later. And gals.
Turducken.